Here are some of the stories the Financial Times will be watching this week. Emperor Naruhito announces his enthronement on a day of national celebration in Japan. The European Central Bank makes its final rate announcement under Mario Draghi. And we'll have quarterly earnings results from Procter & Gamble. First up, Japan will celebrate the enthronement of Emperor Naruhito on Tuesday. Thousands are set to attend, including heads of state and dignitaries from 200 countries. The event comes as Japanese authorities deal with the aftermath of a recent typhoon. Typhoon Hagibis battered much of the country with heavy rains and powerful winds. Tuesday will be a national holiday and many of the day's events will be televised live. But further bad weather may cause a planned parade to be delayed until November. The FT's Tokyo Bureau Chief, Robin Harding, has more.
Japan will come to a standstill on Tuesday for the enthronement ceremony of its new Emperor Naruhito. Although he took over as head of state earlier in the year, this is the big party, with a grand parade and numerous heads of state or their representatives in Tokyo to pay their respects. Amongst the attendees will be Prince Charles of the United Kingdom. Amongst the absentees will be South Korean President Moon Jae-in, amid the bitter bilateral dispute between the two countries over wartime forced labour. The festivities come just days after an enormous typhoon swept through Japan, causing flooding that has left many homes and businesses underwater. It will highlight the enduring popularity of the imperial institution among the Japanese people.
Now, the European Central Bank's Governing Council will meet to decide monetary policy this Thursday. It will be the last time this happens with Mario Draghi as president. He is preparing to hand over to Christine Lagarde. In September, Mr. Draghi forecast lower than expected growth for the Eurozone. And, in an attempt to bolster European economies amid poor global trade, he announced the ECB would restart its quantitative easing programme. This sparked a fierce backlash from other members of the Council. Our Frankfurt Bureau Chief, Martin Arnold, has more.
Mr. Draghi is not expected to announce any new radical measures. However, investors will be watching very closely to see what he has to say about the state of the Eurozone economy, particularly after warnings by the IMF last week about the precarious nature of the global economy when it cut its forecasts because of the impact of trade wars and the uncertainty over Brexit. Mr. Draghi is also expected to face questions about the deep divisions within the ECB over the monetary easing measures, including a rate cut and more bond buying that were announced by him last month. And he's also going to be questioned over the options left on the table for his successor, Christine Lagarde, as she prepares to take over at the end of the week.
And finally, investors will be looking out for first quarter results from Procter & Gamble on Tuesday. Back in July, P&G reported its fastest sales growth in 13 years. But during that period, the consumer goods group made an $8 billion write-down at its Gillette business and highlighted ongoing challenges facing legacy brands. Nevertheless, the last set of results were welcomed by investors, and analysts predict the company's turnaround will continue. But, as Alistair Gray reports, the company remains under pressure.
P&G was long in the investor doghouse, and it became a target a couple of years ago for Nelson Peltz, the activist investor. Consumers have been defecting to newer brands, and that's hurt the company's profitability. But more recently, it's been staging a recovery. The shares have rallied 45% in the past year. The CEO, David Taylor, has been trying to refocus P&G's portfolio on successful brands and make efficiency improvements. Wall Street's expecting organic sales growth of 5% for the quarter. Adjusted profits should be up 12% to $3.26 billion. Investors will be particularly looking for better results from parts of P&G that have continued to underperform. Baby care sales have been weak, and men are also shaving less, putting pressure on P&G's Gillette brand.
And that's what the week ahead looks like from the Financial Times here in London.